Ryan sat in his corner office, staring at the rejected intern applications spread across his desk. He believed he'd been practical, choosing skill over optics, but the CEO saw arrogance instead of logic. His breath tightened as he replayed Collins's challenge. "Show me why male interns are superior." Ryan wasn't angry, he was unsettled. Something in Collins's tone hinted this wasn't about performance at all. It felt like a trap he couldn't yet name, lurking in silence. Collins leaned back in his leather chair, reviewing company diversity reports with sharp, calculating eyes. He had watched managers like Ryan dismiss female candidates for years, always with polished excuses. He didn't want an apology. He wanted transformation. The company needed new culture, and Ryan needed new perspective. As Collins signed the transformation internship approval, he felt a quiet satisfaction. Change, he believed, is absorbed only through lived experience. Ryan tapped his fingers nervously as the HR email confirmed his 6-week gender internship. No details, no option to decline, just a clinical note. Transformation procedure scheduled. Temporary identity assigned. Reina Collins. His throat dried. He had expected extra training or evaluation, not full immersion. Even then, he couldn't imagine what it meant to live as a woman. He half laughed, half shook, unsure whether to resist or surrender. Melissa from HR reviewed Reina's digital profile. Age 22, student intern, makeup-ready photo attached. She felt conflicted. The program was meant to correct biases, but it forced identity onto participants. Still, she knew the board approved it unanimously, citing corporate culture reform. Melissa finalized Reina's wardrobe package, hoping Ryan would learn empathy rather than humiliation. She whispered a small hope, "Please grow from this." Ryan sat in the clinic chair as technicians prepped him, the fluorescent lights feeling harsher than usual. He was instructed to breathe slowly, to trust the bioadaptive formula. His reflection trembled in the steel cabinet. Soon he wouldn't even recognize that face. Fear crawled beneath his ribs, but curiosity tugged too. Could identity be shifted like a costume? As the procedure began, his skin tingled with an unfamiliar warmth. Dr. Albright checked the monitors as the formula coursed through Ryan's system. She'd overseen dozens of transformations, but Ryan's case carried weight. This wasn't cosmetic, it was educational. She admired the courage it took to allow one's identity to be rewritten temporarily. As Reina's facial structure softened on the screen, the technician whispered, "You'll understand more than they ever told you." Reina awoke to a soft, breathy voice echoing from her own throat. She touched her face, shocked by the delicate bone structure beneath her fingertips. Her hair spilled across her shoulders, silky, weighty, undeniably feminine. She stood shakily, the center of gravity lower, hips subtly shifting. A mixture of awe and panic fluttered through her chest. This was no costume. This was existence shifting under her skin. Collins reviewed Reina's photo ID, the transformation complete. He expected resistance or outrage, but Reina's eyes, though nervous, held curiosity. That was promising. He believed empathy was grown through immersion, not lectures. He approved Reina's assignment to a notoriously dismissive supervisor. A harsh environment, yes, but one he trusted would expose truths Ryan could never learn otherwise. Reina stepped into the elevator for her first day, clinging to her intern badge. People glanced quickly, evaluating her outfit, posture, even confidence. The weight of constant judgment pressed on her shoulders in a way Ryan had never felt. She smoothed her skirt instinctively, wishing to appear competent, not cute. This new world wasn't hostile, but it was dense with invisible expectations she never noticed before. Supervisor Grant skimmed Reina's file with disinterest. "Another intern," he murmured, barely looking at her photo. He valued speed and obedience, not personality. With interns, especially women, he focused on appearance more than skill, an old habit he never examined. He assigned Reina the most tedious tasks, assuming she'd flinch at pressure. Grant never saw bias in himself, only efficiency. Reina sat alone at her tiny desk, reading Grant's email. Every task was beneath her former role, sorting receipts, formatting notes, reorganizing supplies. As Ryan, she'd never been judged so quickly. She felt the sting of being underestimated, not for performance, but for presence. Still, she breathed deeply, reminding herself that strength didn't always roar. Sometimes, it simply persisted. Reina walked through the break room, overhearing two employees debate whether interns these days rely too much on looks. The comment wasn't aimed at her, but it sliced quietly. She realized how often women endure assumptions that dissolve confidence grain by grain. She held her head high anyway, determined to prove her worth through discipline, not wounded pride. She took her lunch to the rooftop, needing space. The wind played with her hair, reminding her how visible she was in this new form. Visibility brought both admiration and scrutiny, a paradox she was still learning to navigate. She wondered how many women lived entire careers walking this tightrope. Beneath the ache, she felt something else, a resilience awakening. Collins watched payroll logs, noting that Reina hadn't complained once. Most participants protested by week 1, unable to handle the social weight shift, but Reina adapted. He sensed a deeper transformation happening, one not written in biology, but perspective. Collins wasn't cruel, he was strategic. He wanted Ryan to return changed, not in form, but in understanding. Reina worked late, finishing tasks meticulously. She enjoyed the flow state, but she noticed something unsettling. Grant hadn't praised a single effort, yet he criticized formatting twice. She felt the pressure to be flawless, an unspoken rule tied to her gender now. Perfection wasn't optional, it was survival. She wondered how she once ignored this imbalance so easily. Near the end of week 3, Reina examined her reflection in the restroom mirror. She noticed how naturally she applied lip gloss, how her posture softened without losing confidence. She wasn't acting anymore. She was settling into this identity. The thought startled her, but it also settled warmly in her chest. Transformation wasn't happening to her, it was happening within her. Late at night, Reina felt waves of emotion rising, heightened empathy, intuition sharpening, senses more attuned. None of it felt artificial. She realized femininity wasn't fragility, it was depth. Her heart responded to the world with layers she never accessed as Ryan. The shift wasn't horror, it was awakening, and yet the intensity frightened her. Miles, a college peer who once competed fiercely with Ryan, reviewed an email from Reina requesting data access. He didn't know her identity, but sensed her determination. He admired the clarity of her communication. For the first time, he realized that success wasn't tied to dominance, but to adaptability, a lesson he wished he'd learned sooner. Reina experimented with her new wardrobe for confidence: soft blouses, neat skirts, gowns, steady heels. She discovered the small rituals of womanhood, adjusting yellow gowns' straps, smoothing fabric, walking with grace. These weren't burdens, but expressions. Each detail offered control, identity shaping itself through choice. She felt beautiful, not for attention, but for the alignment she felt inside. Grant assigned her a solo presentation. Reina prepared obsessively, wanting to prove her capability despite his doubts. Practicing alone in a quiet conference room, she noticed her voice carried differently, gentler, yet deliberate. Femininity hadn't weakened her, it had refined her. She felt powerful in a way Ryan never did, balanced, intuitive, quietly formidable. During the presentation, she stood alone before the empty room, imagining the audience. She articulated every slide, feeling confidence rise with each gesture. She wasn't performing gender, she was performing mastery. This moment wasn't about proving women were equal. It was about recognizing she always had been. Ryan had overlooked this truth. Reina lived it. Collins reviewed the presentation footage, impressed. Reina's poise, clarity, and emotional intelligence surpassed Ryan's previous leadership reports. He saw no trace of resentment, only growth. The internship wasn't meant to punish, but to open a door. He scribbled one note: ask her what she wants after week 6. He suspected the answer had changed. Reina walked home at dusk, feeling the shift complete, not just physical, but emotional. Her steps felt lighter, her inner dialogue softer, but stronger. She didn't feel like a visitor in this body anymore. She felt like someone finally meeting herself after years of distance. She whispered her name, Reina, and the word resonated with truth. She journaled late into the night, analyzing everything she learned: emotional labor, invisible expectations, the discipline femininity demanded. She wrote advice she wished Ryan had known, about listening, about patience, about compassion. Her handwriting curved elegantly across the page, mirroring her transformation. She realized she had become the lesson itself. Collins prepared the final debrief, expecting Reina to request reversal. Instead, he sensed anticipation in her voice. He admired the courage he saw. Identity formed not by force but by understanding. He realized he wasn't just evaluating growth, he was witnessing rebirth. For the first time, he understood that this program had changed him too. Reina stood before the clinic mirror for the final time, offered the option to return to Ryan's form. She waited for hesitation, but none came. She felt aligned, complete, alive. This wasn't a punishment, it was a discovery. She chose permanence with steady calm. Walking out into the morning light, Reina embraced her new future, carrying wisdom, resilience, and womanhood with fearless grace. Hey friends, thanks for watching. Love this story? Get early access to upcoming stories and bonus content on my Patreon. Your support means the world to me. Links below.